Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
Welcome to today. It is Friday. It's November 11. We honor those that have protected us and our country and our rights and all the people that have gone to war before us. My grandfather was in World War II. Amazing stuff to hear the stories of that. So we just respect those that have got us to where we are today. Thank you.
My grandfather was also.
Our grandpappies.
I guess we were kind of the last generation to be able to say that.
Yeah, probably. Wow, we have something that.
Which is why it's so important that we instill in our children the same appreciation that we have.
True. Pass it on. Yeah, I played paintball I played paintball quite a bit.
Oh, please tell me you're not
I
gonna.
would never want to be in the war.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. No, I'm not ready. And nor would I want to engage in that activity.
There's an interesting sensation that happens when you're playing paintball of like that feeling of like I could.
Did you ever get hit by a paintball?
Yeah.
Have you?
And that feeling of like someone could be around the corner and
you bruises.
I remember yelling that at everybody while we were playing paintball. Don't you be a
I think it was one of your brothers that went up to the wall because there was a price. It's not gambling, but we put him against the wall.
No.
He got to keep his sweater on, but we could shoot until our hoppers were empty, and he got whatever $50. Man, that's
the youngest one, I'm assuming.
I think it was not the youngest one.
Really?
It was the oldest one.
That's the oldest one.
If I do recall the story right,
because he was could have been training for his team.
No, it was.
That's funny.
We wanted to abuse. I'm struggling today.
Oh no.
What if you had to keep one thing? So we pay subscriptions. So we have media. No.
I don't
want to talk about.
I don't want to talk about this on camera.
No, you don't have to. Okay, but
yes,
no, I'm going to make it palatable for you to be able to talk to. So all of us, most of us in this world,
now have a music subscription.
Have some sort of media subscription, whether it's Netflix or some of you probably have 10 different subscriptions. We don't have that many. But if you could have one subscription, what would you have?
Spotify.
You would do Spotify. I would 100%.
It is the only subscription I have.
No, we have Netflix, Amazon.
Yeah, but the only reason I have Amazon is for delivery.
Yeah. Okay. That's not the question. The question is if you could keep one.
Every subscription.
Yeah.
Oh.
Of those kind of things.
Oh, well, delivery is very different than music and podcasts.
I know. That would be a hard one. But you get movies with Amazon.
But
you have to wait.
You actually also get music with Amazon Prime.
You do?
Did you know that?
No.
Go look at it.
See, I would be stuff on YouTube.
It's not very good, but they keep trying to convince me that it's gotten better.
They can only get better. They're taking over like NFL football. Like they have They
said they've added a lot of music.
Internet. Like at some point that they will take a run at Google. But YouTube, I didn't realize I use it as much as I do. And I had my friend shared his subscription with me, and now I don't have it for 2 days. My life has been awkward. I think it has been awkward because there's times where we've used it in.
So either your friend converted their family subscription to an individual subscription, which is possible.
I have not talked to said friend.
Well, it was really generous of them to invite you to their family subscription.
And it's been for like 2 years or whatever. And then it's gone. And I'm like, YouTube is literally useless without it. Like you can't even use it. All right. So we are going to do a morning reading. We respect the veterans today. Give them honor. We're going to pause at 11. And then what subscription do you have that you wouldn't get rid? What would be your number one subscription, I guess is what I would say.
So the reading for today, our thought for today, I am less critical of other people inside and outside of the program.
Are we reading 11?
Oh, I really want to read 12. Yeah, well, can we read that together tomorrow?
Yeah, we can.
Can we read it on Monday?
Should, yeah.
It's really good. Okay. When I think of all who have gone before me, I realize that I am only one not very important person. What happens to me is not so very important after all. And the program has taught me to be more outgoing, to seek friendship by going at least halfway, to have a sincere desire to help. I have more self-respect now that I have less sensitiveness. I have found that the only way to live comfortably with myself is to take a real interest in others. Do I realize that I am not so important after all? Meditation for the day. As you look back over your life, it is not too difficult to believe that what you went through was for a purpose, to prepare you for some valuable work in life. Everything in your life may well have been planned by God to make you of some use in this world. Each person's life is like a pattern of a mosaic. Each thing that happened to you is like one tiny stone in the mosaic, and each tiny stone fits in the perfected pattern of the mosaic of your life, which has been designed by God. Prayer for today. I pray that I may not need to see the whole design of my life. I pray that I may trust the designer.
This is a touchy subject for me.
Why?
Not for me now, but this was defined my life. And I think
Tell us
people that are wounded and live out of a false narrative and out of their wounding, so they're cast of characters that are talking and controlling and rooted in fear, we go really hard on proving ourselves, telling our stories in the narrative of our wounding. We cover up stuff. We aren't open and transparent and vulnerable, and we need to know everything. We need to and so it's a very tiring person. It's very tiring because I can, from my experience, really trying to prove myself. I'm in competition with the world around me. And then coming into recovery, the backstory is not very important anymore. It's the story that I've entered into the relationship with God and the importance that he finds in me. So is really what is important to me.
So what you're saying is some of us can come into recovery having gone through a lot of traumatic events, or a lot of things have happened to us, or we've lived through a lot, and we can become very attached to that story and really live out of that story. And so for some of us, it's maybe it maybe looks like a superhero. And for some of us, it looks like a victim. And we can live out of that story.
You might have both.
You can have both.
We typically have all.
Right.
There's a bunch of them in between.
The characters pop up and run us for a period of time.
I'm always trying to tell you how good I am and how great I've done.
Or how terrible my life was and why you should feel sorry for me.
Oh my goodness.
I lived that.
And so then even in my recovery, I got to this point of I don't want to be John, the addiction guy. I remember I need to change the narrative of my story. And but today it's not even important. I don't even care. If I remember when we were church planting, it was oh, you guys are the recovery church. And I'm like, no, recovery is for everyone. And it's God's redefining what recovery is. And recovery is recovering a relationship that God wants with us, like the Garden of Eden. And so if that's what you mean by that, then sure.
So there is value often when I'm speaking with people and interacting with people. There can be occasionally value in sharing my story, but most often I find my story gets in the way, because when they're going, whatever they're going through and whatever I am trying to I'm trying to point them towards God, and that God is the solution. My story really points them towards me. And this is what happened with me. And this is what our life looked like. And most often then what happens is a comparison. Oh, well, my life is not as terrible as yours, or my life is way worse than yours, or I don't want to stay in this relationship for as long as you did, or, and it really becomes about me, as opposed to I'm trying to point them towards God.
You're throwing hammers. My encouragement to anybody is share your recovery, not your addiction.
Well, I think the key right here is that our life is like a mosaic, and I can't see the full picture. So I couldn't have seen 5 years ago what we would be doing right now. I couldn't have seen, especially 20 years ago, or 15 years ago, I could never have imagined a life different than what we were doing. So why would I spend time right now trying to imagine, or putting too much energy in 5 years from now? To be really present in today and to be really present in where God has me today, as opposed to focusing a lot on the past and staying caught up in that story, or trying to figure out the future. I can just be really present and grateful.
And I think our relationship has greatly grown as we find our importance in God and not each other.
Do you want me to read
agree with that?
I would, yes. Oh yeah. 100%.
Man,
I was convinced that we needed to
we're setting up for date night tonight. Like, you know what? Romance starts in the morning, gentlemen. You gotta I'm not playing games here. I'm just saying, like, I feel like we're in love. I think we're heading in the right direction today.
So
there might be flowers and candles and maybe some cuisine.
The point that got you on that little beautiful tirade, tangent talk, stream of thought, was that you said when we connect with God, we draw closer together. And I think that that's really significant, because even as short time ago as 3 years, I was convinced that we needed to go to marriage counseling. Convinced that this was.
So I sent you on your
because
own.
Because we kept going through the same dumb.
Nothing wrong with marriage counseling, by the way.
It's valuable. It's very valuable. But actually, it's a privileged thing for people to be able to afford to go to marriage counseling. Like, either you have to have the kind of job that gives you benefits, or
my favorite
you have to have the kind of money that gives you the benefit of.
Is that you actually went to counseling and you turned the counselor around in like 2 sessions, and you're like, yeah.
So
she's not equipped to deal
my
with
point is that 3 years ago, I dug in deeper in my relationship with God. And it has had a drastic benefit on our relationship.
And I don't mean that in an arrogant, prideful way. I just mean, like, you realize that you are beyond human aid, and you need the power of God.
I need God's help. I need the power of God, and He has given me all that I need. Counseling's great. I'm not against counseling, but I'm fully aware that not everybody can afford counseling, but everybody can afford a Bible and dig into the Bible and really.
And
or AA or a 12-step program.
Everybody can afford a free membership of LifeLab.
Free membership of LifeLab. You just have to message us. We'll give you a free code. And I met with somebody even yesterday who was like so grateful for LifeLab and said, they have been a Christian for a really long time. They had God, but they didn't really have the same kind of relationship with God that they thought they had. And I was really encouraged to hear that.
The God out there can be the God that comes.
Or there's the person who said, I don't want God, and then came to LifeLab and was like, oh, I didn't even really understand what I was saying I didn't want.
All right, ready, set, break. Read our prayer. Read
the prayer again? Yeah. Okay.
I think you were going to.
So for you, I pray that you may not need to see the whole design of your life. And I pray that you may be able to trust the designer.
Here it is. You are important and you matter to God.
It's true. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, have a great weekend. What are you doing?
Oops.